Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Jeremy from Randolph Running Club, and I'm back again with another video. This time I'm doing a update on the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. My first review was about, I don't even know, a month and a half ago or so on these shoes, almost 2 months now. And that was just me taking them up to, 50 miles. But at this point, I've done a lot more running in them. I think I've got them at about 185 miles. Let's call this, the 175-mile check-in on these shoes to kind of see how they're doing, how they're performing. And I'll give you a little bit of a story about my most recent marathon, which I actually ran in these shoes as well last Sunday. So just getting started here. I'm going to make this pretty brief, right? I think the most important thing to take away from this, if you take nothing else, if you stop the video right now, is these shoes feel exactly the same now at 180 plus miles as they felt when I reviewed them at 50 miles and when I first wore them out of the box. The shoe is everything that I remembered it being from the beginning. It still feels really good. It's still a fairly cushioned shoe that has like a nice stack and a pretty good energy return with that nylon plate. I wish that it had the carbon plate of the Pro, but for what you're getting as kind of like a very versatile daily trainer that you can do some speed work in, nothing has changed. Still enjoying it. I'll show you the outsole here. So I have, run as much as I've said thus far, the 180 miles and whatnot, and I think these have held up really well. The outsole is just, still looking about as pristine as it did before. I do see a little bit of wear there in the toe area and a little bit around the kind of midfoot to forefoot area. That's typically where I strike in my shoes. So that, that's kind of mostly what I'm seeing. But for the most part, they still look good. They still feel good. And I guess, let me focus on this upper as well, just a little bit. So, these shoes were kind of pearly white with this red bottom, this particular colorway that I have when I first got them. And I can tell you that, I did a complete marathon, 26.2 miles, where it was raining the entire day, the entire way through. And, this is how they look now, right? So it's a little bit dingy, a little bit kind of more gray than white at this point, but they still look good. I see no tearing in the upper whatsoever. Heel cup still feels nice and firm, strong, and the shoe is just it's performing well. It still has that give that you would expect, and is not causing me any issues. So I haven't felt the foam, the upper, the outsole. None of that has broken down really. Now I think where my opinion on the shoe has, I don't want to say changed. I think the shoe is what it always was, but now that I've done a lot more mileage in it, and I've had the kind of opportunity to compare these with some other shoes that, I've like Nike Vaporflies. I have a pair of Alpha Flies as well that I've run in quite a bit. I think things that I was more positive about with this shoe and its race ready potential has kind of shifted a little bit. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. So, when I first got these shoes, it was part of like something new that I was trying where I only had two shoes for this marathon build for the Oakland Marathon, which I ran last Sunday, as I mentioned before. So, I picked up, I think it was the Hoka Bondi 7. Yeah, that sounds right. Or the 8. I actually don't remember. I think maybe it is the 8. Anyway, I picked up the most recent Hoka Bondi in these Saucony Endorphin Speed 3s in late December. And I said, hey, I'm only going to do all my training runs in these shoes. So, I had built a lot of confidence in the Endorphin Speed 3. I did a 21-mile long run. I had a 20-mile, several 16 to 18-mile runs in these speed sessions, so anything that I was doing at threshold pace or 5K pace was all in these shoes. And I use them, outside. I used it when it was raining. I used it on the treadmill, everything, right? Any type of situation you could put the shoe in, I used it for it. And that gave me extreme confidence saying, hey, you know what? I think that I can definitely go the full marathon distance in these shoes. And, fast forward to the race last Sunday. So, I'm in these shoes, and my goal, I was kind of shooting for like a 3 hour, 30-minute pace. I ended up starting pretty conservatively and was running about 8 minutes, 20-ish, 8 minutes, 30 per mile, somewhere in that range for the majority of the race for about the first, 20, 21 miles. And I was like, hey, just got to make it to mile 20 and I'm going to pick up the pace and I'm going to get it going. And I can tell you for each step of those first 20 miles, these shoes really did a great job for me, honestly. I mean, the cushion was there. I didn't feel like I was beating my legs up too much or anything. And, it had the right level of energy return for that marathon pace and slower, where I was like, you know what, I'm feeling good. It kind of lulled me into a sense of security. And I said, you know what, mile 20, I'm picking up the pace. We're going to take off and we're going to, start kind of cranking down those miles into the sevens and have a fast finish and just see what we've got, empty the well, right? That was kind of my saying for the race to myself. And I think mile 20 was this tale of a different shoe where I said, I really wish that I had put on my Alpha Flies or the Vapor Flies that I have. And I don't know why I didn't wear these. Maybe I'm just contrarian. Maybe I just want to see the process through for you guys and say, hey, I trained in these shoes and I raced in them as well. So, when mile 21 comes along, right, I'm like starting mile 21. I went to pick up the pace a little bit and there just wasn't anything there. These shoes are just a little bit too soft, a little bit too squishy at that point in the race where I really needed something to be kind of like coaxing me along at these faster speeds. I think these shoes were more so like, hey, if you want to stay at this pace and just stay comfortable, that's all right. But it wasn't really giving me quite enough propulsion, if you will. And I think the big player there is when you're wearing something like an Alpha Fly or a Saucony Endorphin Pro 3 or any of the other carbon plated shoes that are out there, you're getting the same kind of soft, squishy Pebax based foam in these shoes. But the big difference is the carbon plate helps it work so much better because that soft, squishy foam, instead of you sinking into it with each step, the carbon plate is actually so rigid in comparison with this nylon plate that it's actually propelling you forward. So I really, I was kind of kicking myself at the end of the race when I just felt like I had nothing left to give as far as speed was concerned. And I was just watching my pace slow and slow because, at that point in a race, your effort is just getting higher and higher and higher to maintain your pace. So I really didn't feel like it gave me anything extra. It was just like, as my energy was diminishing, I felt like my pace was also diminishing and I didn't really get that quick turnover and propulsion that I was expecting or that I wanted. And that's kind of on me. I trained in these shoes. I should have known that. But I don't think I ever made it quite that far in a run where I was that exhausted and I was trying to pick up the pace, right? And I think that's the really big thing. So, hey, I did the hard work for you guys, so you don't have to. You don't. I fell down so you can walk. I don't know, but moral of the story, I think these shoes are great. I think if you were using them for even up to like a half marathon that you wanted to run fast, I actually think you could get away with that. But I think any race where you're really fighting just extreme fatigue, your muscles are very tired and you're really just kind of trucking along there, do yourself a favor. And I would say maybe these will be serving fine as your training companion, but when it's actual race day, don't do what I did. Get something that has an actual carbon plate in it. So that's kind of my 2 cents on the shoe. Shoe's holding up well. I've really enjoyed running in it. I will continue to run in these because I think they have a ton of life left in them, to be honest. I see no reason why I couldn't get these up to 300, 400 miles and they still feel just as good as they feel. So kudos to you, Saucony. And next time, I'll make sure to get some Pro 3s for race day. With that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment down below so I can chat with you. And as always, stay safe out there, stay blessed, and continue to inspire others. I'll see you in the next time. Take it easy. Peace.